There's something wonderfully appealing about a game that knows it's ridiculous. Folly of the Wizards, this colourful roguelike adventure on Xbox, absolutely embraces the idea of playing as a catastrophically unqualified wizard apprentice trying to save the world. The premise is silly, the characters are quirky, and the whole thing has this tongue-in-cheek charm that makes you want to keep plugging away at just one more run. But, and I say this with genuine affection for what's here, there are some significant bumps in the road that prevent this from being the magical experience it could be. Let's start with what Folly of the Wizards absolutely nails. The art direction is gorgeous. Each biome feels distinct and alive, from the demonic worms erupting in the desert to the noxious clouds lurking in forests. The character designs are whimsical without being cutesy to the point of annoyance, and there's real personality in how every NPC is written. When you meet characters between runs, they feel like they belong in this weird wizarding world. The humour is genuinely decent too. The game doesn't take itself seriously, and it actively mocks you when you fail. There's something oddly motivating about your wizard getting roasted after a bad run. It's self-aware in the best way possible. The core gameplay is straightforward. You jump into procedurally generated dungeons, clear rooms, collect upgrades, and face bosses across multiple floors. You've got your basic spell attack, a double jump, a dash, and access to elemental spells. On paper, this is solid roguelike stuff, and to be honest, the structure works fine for the first few runs. Having spent the last few weeks building my own platformer, I genuinely appreciate how difficult it is to nail movement mechanics and responsive controls. Folly of the Wizards gets some things right. The shooting is twin-stick style, which feels intuitive, and the platforming sections aren't overly demanding. But here's where things get messy. The controls on console are genuinely bizarre. Jump is bound to LB, in a game where jumping and dashing are absolutely vital to survival. I understand why this bothers people so much because, frankly, it's weird. The game doesn't feel natural to play on controller, and what makes this even more frustrating is that X/A is just sitting there, unused. At minimum, letting players remap controls would have solved this entirely. Beyond the controls, Folly of the Wizards suffers from what I'd call system inflation without explanation. You can grab from a pool of 130 relics, tomes, and scrolls during a run. That's a lot of variety, and theoretically, that's brilliant. In practice, you'll often pick something up and have absolutely no idea what it does. The in-game catalogue offers visual descriptions, but almost nothing about actual functionality. You might grab something that accidentally replaces your favourite weapon, and there's no way to get it back. It's frustrating not because the systems don't exist, but because they're never explained. A simple tooltip system would have changed everything. The affinity system with NPCs has similar problems. Depending on your conversations, you'll build relationships that apparently determine what items become available. But here's the thing, it's never explained how this actually works. You're largely guessing, and whilst the writing is charming, the systems behind it remain opaque. Here's my honest assessment after several runs. Folly of the Wizards is engaging in shorter bursts, but it doesn't quite have that addictive one more run feeling that roguelikes need to survive. The visuals carry the experience initially, but after a couple of longer sessions, the repetition starts to wear on you. The bosses help break things up, but the room-to-room combat loop doesn't vary enough to keep pulling you back. The game is perfectly playable in 30-minute chunks, but it doesn't inspire marathon sessions. And when the roguelike genre is absolutely packed with options, that's a significant problem. You need something special to keep players invested, and Folly of the Wizards relies too heavily on its charm rather than its mechanics. Don't get me wrong, there's real fun to be had here. The moment-to-moment gameplay feels good when things click. Learning which enemies are vulnerable to specific elements creates actual strategy. The boss fights are creative and memorable. That unicorn DJ, hilarious. And honestly, the writing throughout is consistently entertaining. For players who genuinely love roguelikes and don't mind the steep difficulty curve, there's absolutely something worth exploring. The 22 unique bosses, 9 biomes, and multiple endings give you reason to keep going. It's just that these good elements sit alongside genuine frustrations.